It's the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Top 5 running back. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. I'm Smitty. Take a lap.
Yo, welcome to the show. I'm your man Smitty, and you're watching the Fantasy Football Show. We're breaking down Week 16. We're breaking down the Week 15 games that are still to come. Yes, it's Tuesday. Usually we talk about the following week, the upcoming week only, but we've got two postponed games, the Seahawks versus the Rams, the football team versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Breaking down these contests tonight. Who do you start? Who do you sit? Who do you worry about? I've got all your news right here. Wipe your feet on the way in the door. That means hit that like button, smash it, punch it, lamb it, Javonte Williams it, Travis Kelce, that lamb button. We'll talk about everything walking into Week 16, 15. You know it. Let's go. On your screen, Week 16 ads for your upcoming waiver session. Ronald Jones. We'll talk about Leonard Fournette. Antonio Brown. We'll talk about Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and those guys. St. Brown still available in a bunch of leagues. Gabe Davis dropping serious loads on the field in Week 15. And looks like he's going to get more running targets walking into Week 16. Duke Johnson. They're going to run the hot hand. Will Duke Johnson be the guy that helps you win your fantasy football championship? Craig Reynolds, the guy I made fun of and said it sounded like he had two first names or something. Very forgettable name. I couldn't remember his name. And I made fun of him, right? The Saturday night before he dropped 112 yards rushing. Take a lap, me.
Take a lap. Take a lap. Take a lap. Take a lap.
Craig Reynolds. Craig Reynolds in my nightmares. Craig Reynolds is a good pickup. Let's just say that, okay? But we'll look at Swift, see if Swift's going to come back or when Swift could be back. Samaji P. Ryan will take a look at Joseph Mixon, see if Joseph is going to go in the coming weeks. Tyler Huntley, now he would be higher depending on the Lamar Jackson news. We don't have a whole lot of news. We don't have a whole lot of updates on Lamar Jackson for Week 16. We don't have a whole lot of updates on Joe Mixon, on DeAndre Swift. So we're kind of left in a situation where we have to look at these guys and say, hey, we need to pick them up. We need to presume what's going to happen, and we need to assume that these guys potentially could climb into the lineup, get a bunch of work, and so we've got to pick up under those assumptions and not just wait for the news to emerge that, hey, Joe Mixon's out this amount of time. Let me look up Joe Mixon right now and speak on the man. Last we have it says Mixon suffered an ankle injury in Week 15 against the Broncos. The good news is Taylor expressed optimism about his availability for Week 16. So that's why Samaji P. Ryan is number 7 right now and not number 2. In the case of DeAndre Swift, the latest news we have on Mr. DeAndre is that he was declared out for Week 15. There was some thought that DeAndre would be potentially available for Week 15 early on in Week 15 and in Week 14. And every week that approaches, he's not really available. He's not as close as we thought he could be to playing. So that's why Craig Reynolds is sitting there. And maybe he needs to be higher. And if news breaks that suggests that Swift will be out Week 16, then you will have Craig Reynolds rise higher on my rankings. Despite him having a forgettable name. Okay? Put some respect on Craig Reynolds. I did. It's my fault. I got lammed the night before Week 15 kicked off when I made fun of his kind of forgettable name. And I said, don't worry about him. I can't remember who he is anyway. And 112 yards later.
Take a look.
Good old Craigie boy. Good old Craig. First people in the house tonight, DJ first in the door, Troy second, J Money third, Slayer fourth, Blackbeard fifth, and Baked In Boys and Overcome jumping right in after that. And Overcome's got a super chat already. Live or die for me tonight on the live. Overcome, appreciate your super chats, appreciate your support. Live or die for Overcome tonight. Who do you have, Overcome, that you need to drop some serious points in this game? Hit that like button on the way in the door. I have a feeling Week 16 is not going to be that much better or kinder than Week 15. What a disaster. For everything to fall apart in Week 15 is definitely just like a kick to the groin, to go through what we went through in 2020, then to have a pretty decent 2021 and then have everything kind of fall apart in 2021 Week 15, Week 1 of the fantasy football playoffs. Now, a lot of you escaped it. A lot of you had bye weeks because you are the fantasy football show viewers. I got a lot of my people on byes, and that I feel grateful for. I am fearful for everybody entering Week 16, but I am very grateful for all of my followers that were granted a Week 15 hard-earned bye week. It was a disaster of a week. One of my best teams I've ever assembled in my entire life. Well, one of them in a 12-team expert league. Let me send this over to myself, and I'll put it on screen, because this team is absolutely phenomenal, and it struggles every week. Like, I barely pull wins off. I barely got into the playoffs. It's crazy. It's asinine. It's insane what some of these teams are doing, and they're great teams. I would draft a team again. I didn't make a mistake assembling this team. I traded into it. Herbert, Javonte, Alvin Kamara, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Pat Freiermuth, Antonio Gibson, CeeDee Lamb. 12-team celebrity expert league. It's a mix. It's got some NBA players in it. Ryan Hollins, Quentin Richardson, or a former NBA player. It's got a mix of NBA players, celebrity, and fantasy football. It's an expert league, half celebrity, whatever. And I assembled this team. Phenomenal team. One of the best teams I've ever assembled, and it's struggling every single week. It can't put together wins. It points against are crazy. Injuries. Gibson fell off. Kamara got hurt. Javonte's been waiting. Diggs has been slumping. Jefferson's been fire. Herbert's been up and down. Like, this team is fire. I would draft this team again in a heartbeat. I am not ashamed of this team's record or the fact that it struggles. This is the kind of season we're looking at. But I squeaked by this week. Look at these. I mean, I still got Gibson to go, and I clinched it. The game's over. I barely won, but I still have Gibson to go, so I should have probably put it over the top. But look at this team. 4 points for Kamara, 11 for Diggs, 12 for Jefferson, 5 for Freiermuth, 8 for Lamb, 10 for Javonte. Garbage score. This week was brutal. But I'm still proud of this team. And, what can you do? What can you do but go out there, do your best, stay on your toes, and if for any reason some of you were down and out, you're watching, you're like, well, I guess my season's over. See you guys next year. Where are you Where do you think you're going? If your season's over, you more than anybody are staying put, young man, because we got 2022 content coming, and we're going to prepare for it in unison with the remainder of this season. We're not waiting. I'm not waiting to do mock drafts until January and February. We're doing them in December. The tail end here of December, Christmas time. We are doing mock drafts. We are doing 2022 prep. I'm not worried about the content for this year because I'm not going to stop. It's going to be in unison. in beautiful unison, synchronized like a dance move. Side by side, 2022, 2021, we aren't stopping. Here's your waiver wire ads for week number 16. There's my team that I better win it all with this team. This team is fire. Oh God. Josh Reynolds on the list. Yeah, I mean, you could put him there at 9. Sure. You could put him there at 9. I don't think he's like overwhelmingly over these guys, but I think that you could definitely, I mean, you could, the list goes on and on. I would say there are other names I could throw out there like Scantling, but he's now on the list, on the C list, the dreaded C list. Justin Jackson. But what's going on with Austin Ekeler? So let's go to Ekeler. Austin Ekeler. I have a real bad feeling week 16 is not going to be kinder to us. According to the official NFL transaction wire, Austin Ekeler was among the players placed on the dreaded C list. Maybe it's a procedural thing, and it will be delayed until Tuesday, but it's still worth noting Ekeler wasn't among the 7 Chargers officially placed on the C list on Monday. So we don't know. We don't know. And Justin Jackson would jump on this list too. Actually, let's just put him on here now at the bottom and just say that, you know, should anything happen, then obviously he will vault up. Now, do you make a preemptive move if your waivers process tonight? Hopefully they don't. But if they do, if you own Ekeler, then Justin Jackson for you is going to be more valuable than he is for other people, you know. And is it even Justin Jackson? I mean, who knows? Like, we're looking at the depth chart here. You got Joshua Kelly. You got Roundtree. I imagine it would be Jackson, but we don't know. So, yes, we need to make sure we stay on top of that. And if your waivers process tonight, you have to make assumptions. And depending on the players that you own, you might have to put Justin Jackson higher than the average bear. Okay? So, there's your list right there. Don't forget our Tuesday games tonight. These are the Tuesday games to finish off week 15. These were your postponed games. Seattle, Rams, football team, Eagles. That is tonight. And the news relevant to those players are as follows. You have Sony Michel. Rams head coach Sean McVay said the team's running back usage in week 15 against the Seahawks will hinge on the feel for the flow of the game. Meaning, Michelle could get a lot of run, Henderson could get a lot of run. This is why Henderson concerned me and a lot of start bench questions walking into week 15. But the way that players played in week 15, if for any reason you've got Henderson or Michelle still to go, maybe it was a blessing that you went that route, because who knows? The guys you picked may have busted already. And maybe you're like, okay, at least I've got a shot here. But right now, it looks to be very risky to roll with either Sony Michel or Henderson walking into this game. The next piece of relevant news, I see your super chats. I will get to them. Don't worry, hang tight. McKissick on the injured reserve. So, know that. Next piece of news that is relevant to today's games. Tyler Higbee won't play week 15 against the Seahawks. He's on the dreaded C list. More fantastic news. And when I say fantastic, I mean not fantastic. Unless you own DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett unlikely to play week 15 due to the C list. And if you're wondering why I keep saying the dreaded C list, is because whenever we use the actual word, it takes over all the advertising and warnings get slapped everywhere. Because so I like to not necessarily get it involved in the show, if you know what I mean. So there you go. That's I don't know if I have any more pieces of news relating to this game. Let me just scan over everything I don't. We have this piece of news. Chiefs placed Tyreek Hill on the reserve list as well. So stay tuned for this one. As the report states here, there's a good chance this is a candidate to be moved the game to Tuesday of next week. So there's a strong likelihood that this could end up not being an issue come Tuesday, but it's tough to say. I mean, you have to plan ahead. What a mess, as the report says, a cluster. This is just a cluster that we're looking at. So hopefully he's good to go. Kelsey as well is being talked about. Let's see here. Let me just confirm something. Yep, he's there too. I just wanted to make sure that was official. So Travis Kelsey, and let me put this one on screen as well. But again, because of all the outbreaks, you could say, this is looking like a strong candidate, this Kansas City game, to be moved to Tuesday, which will give hope. We'll find out depending on, each player's situation and medical history. This could determine whether they play if it gets moved to Tuesday, the game. So I don't know. What is this? Armageddon? I mean, we call Bye-mageddon the week where all the players were on a bye, but this is fantasy playoff Armageddon. We've never seen anything as insane and unraveling as this week 15, week 16, and probably week 17 as well. So Travis Kelsey, add him to the dreaded reserve list. Beasley on the list as well. Stay tuned on that. It just gets worse and worse. Scantling on the list as well. He was a good pickup, but now he probably is not. And Eli Mitchell, game time decision for week 16. Potential positive news gracing our presence. I mean, goodness gracious, that's the best thing we've seen all day. That he might be out or might not be out. That's the only thing we get. That's the only piece of news we get that's any good. Carlos Hyde on the injured reserve. Know that his season's over. Von Miller on the reserve list. You guys know about that. That's it. I mean, we're caught up on the news already. We have some super chats that have been sent in and that are waiting. So let me get to those. I apologize for the wait on those. I appreciate you waiting patiently. Swaggy says DK to the moon. I think DK is going to have a good day. I think Penny's going to equal money as well, Nady. I'm hoping Tuesday feels like Sunday should have felt. Okay? Because we had Saturday and then we had Sunday games. Sunday games felt like Thursday games. So hopefully we're just off schedule and the Tuesday games will feel like Sunday games and not Thursday games. Because if we get a bunch of Thursday performances out of the Seahawks, Rams, football team, and Eagles, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to absolutely lose it. I'm usually calm and composed and happy. And, I get affected when my followers get affected. Even though I'm not to blame for what's going on in week 15, I still feel responsible for all of you. And when you don't do well as a whole, even though everybody's not doing well as a whole, people are crawling to the finish line. People winning games are winning games like 80-65 and 73-87. I still feel it. I still feel upset inside in my core because I fight for you. I work for you. You are the show. And when you struggle, even one of you, I struggle. And it upsets me. And it upsets me when we can't let it all play on the field. We have to resort to these kind of things causing chaos for people to win. And it's upsetting because I want you guys to be able to win on the field with what we did, all the culmination of everything we've done in the offseason, in-season, coming together. And whether you win or lose, you put your best players on the field and they went out and played. Not this garbage. So that's why I'm unraveling and unveiling my 2022 content and coinciding with everything going on for 2021 because I want you guys to have 2022 to look forward to if you have been knocked out. Kenny Powers says, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, Smitty. Appreciate everything you do in our community. Let's get Smitty to 10K. If not, subscribe, please do. Kenny, that is Smitty approved.
You've just been Smitty approved.
please punch the subscribe button if you are watching. Surprisingly, and this is for any channel, not just mine, a big number of people watching a show that they watch regularly. They don't subscribe. They just continue to watch it. And if you can convert all your people watching, it would be an astronomical number. If you are watching and you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. Do your boy Smitty a favor and punch the thumbs up button on your way in the door. If your chat is open on your mobile phone, just hit the X, hit the thumb up, and then hit the live chat again, and boom, you're back in business. It takes you 1.5 seconds. Thank you, Kenny. Appreciate you. Derek Lincoln, I appreciate you. NPR says full PPR Hendo, Michelle, or Penny. Give me Penny. I've been saying it all week because he feels like he's going to have more guaranteed volume. But anything can happen. As McVay said, he's going to kind of use that hot hand approach. So I could be wrong, and you have Hendy or Michelle, and one of those guys could go crazy because of the hot hand approach. But which one? So Penny feels a little safer. Yeah, we put him on there, Derek. Appreciate that. We did put him on the list. He's got a little star next to his name because he will move like higher or lower depending on the news. But appreciate you. Overcome. Need Gibby to outscore Sanders and Metcalf. That could happen. It could happen. I mean, it's going to be close, but that's why you play the game, man. You play for the fun, anticipation, the roller coaster ride. That is why we play. We just want to be on a roller coaster that's moving, not one that's been taken off the track and being worked on. And which one's going to be fixed up and just get on the track before the other one's going to win. We don't want to win like that. We want to win with the pressure on the line, with our players balling out, but we're out of commission in a lot of these cases. So it is what it is, but we'll figure it out. We'll move on. We'll do the best we can with the news. And, Week 16 waiver ads could help you get that edge. So be on top of it. In a dilemma, Smitty, start Metcalf or Penny, down 33 points, and I also have Kupp with the Eagles defense playing as well. So you're down 33 with Cooper Kupp, and you have Penny or Metcalf to roll with. Let's take it to the chat. Would you guys rather start DK Metcalf or Penny? Given you're down 33, you got the Eagles and Kupp to go, which are very, very solid. Penny might be a tad safer for you because the volume should be there for him. Metcalf's got more risk but higher upside. Like Metcalf has the upside to get you 20 points by himself, but he's slumping right now. He's getting, could get you 4 points. But with Lockett out, assuming that holds true, I don't see how DK doesn't eat, man. He's higher risk but higher upside. Penny safe. Let's see what the chat says, and then you can make your decision from there. But that's kind of my assessment of that, bro. And I appreciate your super chat. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, Trojan. And right now we've got Penny, we've got DK, we got DK, we got Penny, we got DK. It looks like DK's gonna win this one, bro. DK, Tyler Lockett out. Well, as of now, it looks like he's probably out, but not official. Opponent has... Okay, here's one from Steven. And Rooks, thank you. Rooks says... Rooks, I appreciate you, pal. I can't thank you enough for all the super chats and support you've shown the channel. I need 28.6 points tonight to advance the finals. I have Jalen Hurts and DK. I could play Russell Wilson and or Van Jefferson. I'm going DK and Hurts, bro. You go DK and Russell? I think you lay off the risk on this one. Because if you go Russell Wilson and DK and Russell bombs out, then you got nothing. If you go Hurts and DK could still do well enough even if Wilson struggles. And then Jalen Hurts can then take you over the top. Not to mention, I mean, look at this, bro. I know Jalen Hurts is a risk. He's high risk, high reward, but he's playing the Washington football team. Banged up. Who knows how many points they're even going to score. And I think Jalen Hurts has a day. I think he has a day. A nice little day. And I think that while Russell Wilson should do well. He could do bad. It is the Rams. It is in LA. I would lay off a little bit. I definitely think I would go. You wouldn't be crazy to go Hurts and Van Jefferson, to be honest, but I think I'd go DK and Hurts, and I don't think about it. Those are your two best players. Should you lose, I wouldn't feel regretful for it. I wouldn't be like, oh, I knew it that Van Jefferson was going to outscore DK. I wouldn't feel that way after the fact. But if you go Russell and Van, or you get cute at the end and it doesn't work out, it's going to eat you inside, bro. From the inside out, knowing that you sat DK and Hurts, the highest potential scoring players in the week when it counted most. And Sunday feels untied and unrelated to today. I hope that it doesn't spill over and we just have a madness, bro. Like a madness amount of disappointment in these two games. Thursday night performing players. Like, I hope we don't get that feel, that kind of vibe from this. I don't think we will. I think at least one of these games, I think both games will have some high scoring players. I don't know if both games will be exciting and high scoring, but I feel like the Seattle-LA game could be really close and low scoring. It could. That's why I want to have a piece of that Philly offense against the football team, because I think Hurts could do well. So I appreciate you, bro. Can't thank you enough, Rooks. That's my take. Make sure you feel the same way about it. Steven, up 52. Opponent has Wilson, Cup, Devonta Smith. I have Stafford and held out for Lockett. Who do I stream out of Swain? Oh, man. You waited on Lockett, huh? Oh. So opponent has Wilson, Cup, Devontae. You have Stafford and held out for Lockett. I guess I go Swain, man. I guess I go Swain. But you're up 52. You have Stafford. You should be okay, but I don't know who your option was, but Lockett was very, very, unlikely to play this week. So hopefully you didn't pass on a bigger option, but it's in the past. Who cares? Go Swain, and hope Stafford has a nice little outing. I think he could. It could be low scoring, but then again, bro, Stafford could drop 3 TDs. I mean, honestly, I don't feel like it's a lock for it to be low scoring. I just think there's a possibility it could be low scoring. Media in the house. What's up, Media? Appreciate you being here, pal. Thursday night, Niners, Titans. I hope that is. I'm sorry, Media. Media, put on your earmuffs for a second. We have been blessed with 2 back-to-back Thursday night games that have been very plentiful in the fantasy football realm. I have a feeling that the last Thursday game of the fantasy football season, which will be this coming Thursday between the Titans and Niners, will be low scoring. It'll be kind of quiet. I'm hopeful I'm wrong, but I think we might return to Thursday night normalcy, which is not great numbers or high, fantasy scoring output. So, Media, that doesn't mean you won't win. It doesn't mean it won't be a nice defensive fought battle for your Niners, but I'm not feeling great about it from a fantasy perspective. Make or break decision here, Smitty. Sin or Michelle. In my running back spot, you got Odell Beckham Jr. in your flex, but I can play both running backs if I need to. Thanks for all you do, man. Appreciate you, Jacob. Thank you for dropping the big super chat. Man. I'm going to say stay away from the Michelle Henderson situation. I feel like Henderson's the better bet, but this is risky for both players. So if Odell is a go and everything looks good for him, and it certainly should. Let's just pull up Odell news real quick. And just make sure. I mean, he was activated from the dreaded reserve list, but we don't 100% know. Like, there's been no confirmation report. Like, he's ready to rumble. So just make sure you're on top of that, like, before kickoff. I'm going Odell and Gibby. And while I worry about Gibby, I do, because if the offense is down, they're throwing the ball. he's going to be involved in that too because McKissick's out. So it is Gibson now. Gibson has PPR potential in this game. I'm not straying away from Gibby in this contest. Again, like I've said earlier with the other questions, if you get this wrong and it doesn't work out and you played Gibby and Odell and you played your best players, I don't think you're going to live in regret, a world of regret. I think you're not going to be like, oh my God, I knew it. I should have did this. I should have did that. Just because players do better on your bench doesn't mean you let it eat you up inside. Where it eats you up is when you make some kind of crazy last minute decision. It doesn't work out. You lower your head and you go, why did I do that? Why did I go against the strategy of always start your studs? So that's my approach, bro. I'm sure most people in here agree, but if anybody feels differently, drop your comment and let them know what you think. You need Kittle to drop 40 on Thursday, says IMG. Yeah, that's a lot of points, bro. I know, I understand that, but if you're down, you're still throwing. So, I'm just saying Gibby should be utilized. It's a scary proposition. I mean, am I wrong? Would you guys play Michelle over Gibson? Let's see what the chat thinks. But I have a feeling everyone's going to want Gibby, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys like Michelle over Gibby. Drop your thoughts. Michelle or Gibby? Go to the chat. Eagles winning low-scoring game, 17-13, says Grant. And that is not our Grant. That is, you're our Grant S. But just making sure people don't think that's Grant Land, my intern Grant. Nady says Gibby. McLaurin or Odell tonight, Smitty? Odell. Definitely Gibson. Only way I'm playing Michelle is if Henderson is out. That's true. That's my take too. Smitty, my team made a turnaround and I'm leading by 16.5 points. The other guy has Gibson. So you're winning by 16. The guy is Gibson. You have a real strong shot. I'd say Gibby a little bit below 16, but he definitely could score more. So Gibby by a mile. No one's going Sony. All right, that is that. And on that note, let me send a little message. Okay. Let's do a little voicemail session.
It's voicemail time. Drop a voicemail at the Fantasy Football Show on the gram. Tell your grandma.
He'll punch you in the throat.
So drop a voicemail at the Fantasy Football Show, and I will play it here on the show. So let's go. Yeah, media, we talked about Mitchell already. He's trending in the right direction, which is good. This is the only good news we've had on the news wire today. What's up with Kyler? Kyler is... I don't know that Kyler's banged up anymore, but there's a chance he's still hampered a little bit. We got a little special guest coming on here. Hold on one second. There he is, my intern, the man himself, Grant.
What's up, guys?
Grant Land. Grant, everyone is very grateful for the DK Metcalf jersey, and they're very excited to fight for it. The current leader for it, his name is Cardboard Crew. And
he's been in the lead for a while.
Yeah. So he's looking like he's going to be, if I had to guess, if I was a betting man, which I am, I'll probably put my money on Cardboard Crew, but you know, we'll see. I haven't looked at his team lately. Maybe he suffered an injury. Tell me, did you have a lot of teams fall apart in week 15? I know everybody did, but like, what's your story?
Thank God I had a first round bye in almost every league.
Attaboy.
Because it was horrific. It was so bad. If I actually had to, I think if you go look at it, projected the winner of who I would have played, I would have barely won like 110 to 105, which is not good in these leagues. So I think this is probably one of the worst weeks I can ever remember as far as fantasy football goes. But Thank God I had a first-round bye because it wasn't pretty otherwise.
Yeah, it was madness. Grant, who are the top ads this week, or who's the top ad for you this week? On the list, I've got Ronald Jones, Antonio Brown, St. Brown, Gabe Davis, Duke Johnson, Craig Reynolds from Detroit, Samaje Perine. We're not sure about Mixon. Justin Jackson, we're not sure about Ekeler. He could be on the list. He might not be on the dreaded reserve list. Tyler Huntley, we don't know if Lamar will be back. Who do you like on that?
Well, probably Craig Reynolds was probably be number one. I like Ronald Jones. Not a lot on that. I'd probably go Craig Reynolds, Antonio Brown, 1, 2.
Yeah. Okay, Grant, let's play a little game. Let's do a little mock draft for 2022 real quick. You down?
Oh, that'll be absolutely
okay.
This 2022.
Let's do a little mock draft. Let's see. Let me get over to the marker board here. We'll do this later. This is the upside board. Okay. So let me put Grant and I on screen real quick. Let's see. 1 second. Boom. Boom. And okay. All right, Grant. You're on the clock. This is a 2022 mock. You're on the clock at 1.1. Who are you drafting?
Well, I don't see how you can't go with Jonathan Taylor.
Okay. JT. Easy call. 1.2. Now, he did badly in week number 15. A lot of people are upset at him, but I don't see myself how you can't go Najee Harris here. I think things will get better. I also predict that A-Rod, I would say like 40% or 30% chance he wants to potentially go to Pittsburgh. Whether they can make it happen or not, I don't know. I think Denver's the likely landing spot for A-Rod. I think Pittsburgh would be second up. I don't know that it will happen. I think they do address the quarterback position strongly. I don't know if it would be, maybe it'd be Tyler Huntley. He'd be a good fit.
I mean, yes and no. I'm not sold on Huntley's passing ability, but he's versatile enough to get the rushing game going. So if they were to kind of adopt their system around what Baltimore does, I could see it being a good fantasy value, but not necessarily an overall good football value.
Okay. Who is number 1.3?
You know, if he could ever stay healthy, Dalvin Cook.
Okay, I'll put him down. I got a super chat. Let me get to that. Johnny says, thank you, Johnny, for the super chat. Kevin for the super chat. Johnny says, I'm up 26 points with Miles Sanders to play tonight. He has Hurts and Van Jefferson. Am I going to be okay? So you're up 26 points. You have Miles Sanders. He has Hurts and Van.
I don't. That's going to be tight. That's going to be real tight.
Yeah, I'd say hopefully Miles Sanders can go crazy for you.
Is it a PPR or half PPR?
PPR.
That's going to be tight. That's going to be real tight.
Yeah, I'd say it's gonna be to the no. It'll be fun though, Johnny. You'll be able to tell your grandkids about it. You'll be at the edge of your seat, and I think one of you guys is gonna win by like 2 points. But you certainly have a shot, that's for sure. And Johnny,
Absolutely.
I appreciate your super chats all year long. You're the man. Appreciate you, Kevin. 2022 QB1, Josh Allen or Justin Herbert? Do you still have Mahomes as QB1?
No, I don't have Mahomes as QB1 moving forward. I don't like Herbert as QB1 either. He's too inconsistent, too volatile. He'll throw you up some good weeks, and then some weeks he'll score you 12. Herbert's probably going to be, I don't even know if he'll crack my top 5 for how I would want to draft. There's too much volatility from week to week with him. I think probably right now Josh Allen, Kyler Murray. But again, Kyler can't stay on the field, so that's going to be, you really got to start taking in health issues going forward. So Josh Allen's probably going to be number 1 for durability and rushing upside.
Okay. 1.3. Who you drafting?
I said Dalvin Cook.
Oh yeah.
If he can stay on the field, which I know I just contradicted myself with what I just said, but you know, if you handcuff him with Madison, you're in good shape.
Yeah. So just the cuff him, and you're good.
Just cuff him with Madison. You've got nothing to worry about.
1.4 for me. I'm going Javonte, and I know that's really high, and I know it may not work out if like the news unfolds a certain way this offseason. I of course would adjust and adapt, but I really think we're looking at the next JT. He just needs to get the volume. The volume's a concern, but if A-Rod is, I have A-Rod going to either Denver or Pittsburgh, with a higher likelihood to going to Denver. A, do you like Javonte here not knowing that? And B, Grant, do you like Javonte there if A-Rod is in Denver? Like, what do you see in both scenarios? If he's not there, and Denver making do and figuring out another quarterback situation. I think they will. I think they're going to go hard at the quarterback spot this offseason. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much all but said it's going to happen that Rodgers is going to be elsewhere this next year. Melvin Gordon's not going to return. I think we pretty much know that for sure. But if Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback in Denver right now, I mean, he might be 2 or 3 for me. I mean, I'm not overstating that for the fact that he has the second highest broken tackle rate, yards after contact, behind Jonathan Taylor. So, the sky is the absolute limit for this kid. I mean, yeah. I'm thinking he's going to be phenomenal. And I don't want to I'm not just trying to butter you up because you said it. I'm telling you, Javonte Williams is primed for a massive breakout next year.
Butter me up, Grant. It's okay. Just lather me in butter. It's fine.
Absolutely.
Javonte, it's Javonte season next year. I would definitely take him, higher if I knew he was the full-time starter, if I knew A-Rod was there. This is like the value. You're going to get him in this like 1.4 to 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. You'll probably get him, I would say, in this range right here.
In competitive leagues, yes. I think in home leagues,
right.
You actually might get him a lot later than that because you're going to have people that are just going to say, I want Ezekiel Elliott because I'm a Cowboys fan. Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, those are known name commodities, and people are scared of young rookies for a lot of home drafts. So you could potentially, I could see him slipping to the very end of the first round because keep in mind, there are people that are going to want to take Travis Kelce, in the 1.06, 1.07, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams. You're going to see receivers pop in there too for 0 RB guys. So he could potentially slip to the very back end of the first round in home leagues. But in competitive, high money, high stakes leagues, this guy's going top 5. He's pretty much going top 5.
Where are you feeling like CMC and Henry are going to be on this list? Because I honestly don't know where.
I think Henry will be realistically. I think Derrick Henry will, in most leagues will be taken between 2 and 5. We haven't said that yet. I was kind of waiting for that. Obviously, Derrick Henry would be my number 5, and then probably I would follow it by Kamara at 6. CMC, if he's on the field and they don't have Cam Newton, for the love of football, get rid of Cam Newton. My goodness gracious. But other than that, if they can actually find some form of viable quarterback, CMC, when he's on the field, is going to be a top 3 guy. The problem is the man the last 2 seasons cannot stay on the field. And I don't see – there's nothing that shows me that he's going to be able to stay on the field moving forward. And, I go back to the Dalvin Cook argument that you had after Dalvin's second year, where the first year he tore his ACL, second year he had hamstrings followed up by that, which that's a known thing where, the second year your hamstrings pull a lot. You have a lot of injuries from an ACL recovery. Well, the third year, oh my God, he busted out because you kind of, there was.
I think we got breaking up a little bit, Grant. Well, Grant, we can't hear you right now. You're choppy, so I'm going to talk a little bit until we get you back in the clear signal. So Grant's going Henry. Grant's going to call back in. Grant's going Henry at 1.5. I went Javonte at 1.4. He went Cook at 1.3. I'm going Harris at 1.2. He went JT at 1.1. Let's get Grant up in this mug again. What's up, Grant? We lost you there for a second. You there?
Sorry. Every time I get a phone call, this thing just goes haywire on this feed. So I got to start talking from my iPad.
You got to drop and call back, no problem. Okay, so Henry to you. So we have yet what I predict to happen in 2022 fantasy football is a lot of people to go wide receiver heavy. We have yet to have a wide receiver go off the board. Partly I blame you for that, Grant, because I had to take Harris. I had to take Javonte. You didn't have to take Henry. So now my dilemma is, do I grab Kupp or do I grab Justin Jefferson? JJ's my boy. This is no disrespect to Kupp. If anybody wants Kupp as the number 1 overall drafted wide receiver in 2022, you will get no gripe or complaint from me. But I feel like I should get the same afforded respect for my Justin Jefferson take. So I'm going to put Jefferson here as my number 1 drafted wide receiver. This guy is going to get better and better. The crazy part is people are already judging him as if this is like his top level of performance that you're going to get. He's only going to get better. Do I worry about the quarterback situation? Absolutely. But I'm going to bank on the talent. And even guys like Devontae Adams saying, you guys have no idea how good Justin Jefferson is. When a guy like Devontae Adams says that, you know you need to take it even more seriously than you are. Grant, what do you have to say about my Jefferson pick? And are you going Kupp, or are you going CMC, or are you going someone else?
I personally, just the way I like to draft, I always pretty much like to grab a good, viable running back in the first round. This is where it pains me to say this. I'm probably going to go Alvin Kamara, and I hate saying that over CMC. I just, at this point, do not trust him to stay healthy. And you know, in my high stakes big money league that, you know, we travel all over the country for the draft. I mean, it's a big deal. The last 4 seasons, my first round draft pick is either A, been cut from the team, a la Kareem Hunt, or B, had season-ending injuries. And I'm sick of it. And so I would probably want to assume less risk in the first round and take Kamara over CMC.
I don't have a gripe with that at all, because I don't like Kamara. I'm sorry, I don't like Christian McCaffrey this year. I'll take him eventually, but it's not anywhere near here, just because I feel like you can
Correct.
fail. My only thing is, I think people will say, where's Cooper Kupp? Where's Cooper Kupp? Why is he dropping this far? Because you could argue him at like 4. I'm going to put Kupp here because I can't let the wide receivers fall too far. But I can understand going running back heavy. And I think we'll end it at that top 8 just to show it. But the guy that I think is going to probably have the most deviation from our mock and other mocks will be Kupp. I think Kupp will be more along those lines.
And honestly, I think you're going to see a lot of people next year still, because he's not flashy, he's not high end, he's not sexy. And so it's Tyreek Hill, the cheetah. You know, you're going to have a lot of these big name guys. I think name recognition for home leagues goes a long way. In expert leagues, it's very different. I can see Kupp going middle of the second round in a lot of people's leagues, just because
I don't think he'll last out of the first round in any league. I think too many people, like, the reason I say that, Grant, is I've done a few of these mock drafts and people go nuts when he's not the number 1 wide receiver. Like, whenever I put Jefferson, they go crazy. They're like, where's Kupp? So you might find it.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right on that.
I think it will be the case. I don't think Kupp will sniff even pick 10 overall. I don't think he'll sniff pick 10. I think Kupp's too, especially if he finishes good. Like, maybe if Kupp were to have like 3 straight bad weeks starting with tonight, then I could see Kupp falling. But I really believe, you know, if Kupp even has, you know, 1 monster game and a bunch of decent games, he will be locked into the top 7, top 5, top 6, something like that. So Christian McCaffrey, do you take him in round 1? Do you take him like right around 9, 10, 11? Because I won't touch him, and it's okay if you do. A lot of people will agree with you, but I just can't go near him at top 10 overall value. I will not put my first rounder on the line. So
Man, I'm just scared of it because when he's on the field, man's a monster. But I've just been burned so much. I'm so jaded from the last 4 years of my big league, my favorite league, for always losing my first round draft picks to season-ending injuries, that I don't want to take that chance in the second round. But all right, I go back to my Dalvin Cook. All right, take Dalvin Cook, handcuff him with Alexander Madison. So I'm going to hear a lot of flack of, well, why don't you do the same thing with Chuba Hubbard? Well, Chuba Hubbard, I'm sorry, is not Alexander Madison. That's not even comparable. That's not even a viable argument.
Yeah.
So basically you're drafting McCaffrey with not a very good handcuff. And I don't like after this year, Ezekiel Elliott is a late second round draft pick for me. I'm not interested in him until the late second, early third. Joe Mixon a little bit. I think starting to really creep up in that round right where we are now. Saquon Barkley's not doing much for me in this round, in this area either. It's Aaron Jones isn't. This is where it's really going to get tricky moving forward. It's going to be the very back end of the first to middle of the second where I wouldn't want to be drafting in that area. I would want to be taking a top 6 or 7 pick and having something at the end of the first round versus being all jumbled up half of the back end of the first, early second, just because there's so much volatility that you can draft 2 good players and they go down, or you just miss right there.
Yeah, I won't go near, I won't even draft Barkley in the second round. I will probably draft Christian McCaffrey at some point. I just don't know where that point is yet. I need to test myself in a mock and see where my line in the sand is for him, because he's certainly got upside, but he's got his risk. It's like a scale, and the risk is outweighing the upside until a certain point in the draft. And once it gets to even, or the risk outweighs the reward outweighs the risk.
Keep in mind, exactly, because you're going to have guys that are coming back from injury like Cam Akers. God, who's the other guy that went out for the year? I'll think of it in a second. You're going to have DeAndre Swift.
ETN.
I'm taking those guys before I'm taking McCaffrey or Barkley.
Akers, I don't think Akers has that Achilles injury. I don't know about Akers. I don't know that we ever have a running back on record that has come back and been elite. And let me repeat the word elite, because people in the chat are going to say a couple names that aren't elite. I don't remember a running back ever tearing his Achilles, coming back and playing elite football. Now, Akers is young. Most times an Achilles injury happens a little bit older in a player's career, but I ain't going near Akers myself. But I agree with you on your take on I don't know where I value Henry. I just think Kupp is the most misplaced person from what I would think we'll see in an ADP. I just think Kupp will be higher. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's hard. There's a couple Ekeler comments. Where's Ekeler? Ha ha! I can't believe if I get Ekeler at 1.9, that's great. Ekeler deserves to be in here, but so does everybody else right here. You could argue Jefferson, Kamara, Cook, Javonte, Henry. Obviously Kupp. Ekeler's in a suitable place right here. Ekeler's not a steal right here. This isn't a steal tier. Ekeler's an injury risk, in my opinion, for 2022, because he's a running back. Running backs are just going to have an inherent risk baked in, and 2, he has been injury prone for a while, and if you own him, you know what I'm talking about. You're worried about him, so I'm not going to draft him here. I don't mind him here, from 1.7 down to 112, especially if you're close to that bookend pick area, because you can bake in a couple missed games or something. But Ekeler certainly is going to hold a lot more risk every year that he plays football as a running back, as an injury prone player. So I'm not taking him above Kupp or above Jefferson or above Javonte or Harris, or if I'm cuffing Cook, then Cook. But yeah, I don't think Eckler's standing out as a crazy, where's Ekeler?
Absolutely. And another guy that people might think I'm crazy is add in James Conner, towards the middle of the second round. I'm taking James Conner next year over CMC, Barkley, probably Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You know, those guys that have name recognition but just don't produce.
Yeah, we'll see how he finishes. Connor Mayer, yeah, I mean, Connor was a touchdown machine this year, but he's also not a spring chicken, so it'd be hard for me.
Correct.
It'd be hard for me to bank on James Conner that high. But how old is Connor?
He's only like 26, 27.
26, yeah. But I mean, we'll see how his role. I couldn't imagine him going in even the top of the third round, though. I don't think he's gonna float anywhere near the second. But I don't like Barkley. I don't like Christian McCaffrey. I don't like a number of players in 2022 that are running backs. I'm gonna go wide receiver. I think this is how I feel about 2022. I think here's round 1. Here's round 2. Here's round 3. Here's round 4. I think other than this section right here, where you're going to get JT and Harris and Javonte, other than this little section right here, best player available to me is going to be by far wide receiver about 80%, if not 90% of the time for me. And I know that's going to be a little bit different than the average person, and that's usually how my off seasons are. But I'm going to be drafting wide receivers in this late first and second, and I will be trading down where I can. Instead of drafting a wide receiver right here in round 1, this is round 1. Instead of drafting a wide receiver in round 1, I will be trading into round 2 to get Jamar Chase instead of drafting a wide receiver here. That way I can move like my 5th rounder up into like the top of the 3rd or whatever, and I'm going to keep moving and try and get as many picks. I want to have my draft look like this. I want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want all of my picks literally right here.
Yep.
In 2022, that's how I'm going to aggressively draft.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we've been saying, is that 1.7 to 2.6 is just, it's no man's land for me.
Yeah.
It's not somewhere I want to be drafting as of right now.
All right. Let's see. What else do we have to talk about today? Who else is in the news right now?
Hey, Smitty, is there any way I can hop off for a second and then hop back on here in about 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, no problem, man. Appreciate you.
All right, cool. I'll be back.
All right. Grantland's jumping off. So that was interesting. Everybody's got a different perspective on 2022 already. But, I like players a lot differently than Grant does, and Grant likes players a lot differently than I do walking into 2022. It's kind of interesting to see somebody else's opinion right away. Kind of crazy how different things are going to be right from the jump. Let's see here. If I'm ranking wide receivers next year, and then we'll get on to 2021 week 16. But if I'm ranking wide receivers, so 2022 wide receiver rankings, you got Kupp and Jefferson going 1 and 2. As of right now, I'm going to have Hill at number 3. I don't have Devontae here yet because we don't know where he's going to be playing. We don't know if Green Bay is going to franchise tag him. I don't think they will. They don't really use the tag like that. But they could. They should, and they could. They may not. They probably won't. But until we know that he's not playing with Jordan Love, and until we know where he's playing, I don't know that I love Adams as a top 4 wide receiver. Will he follow A-Rod? I don't know. Will he go to the Las Vegas Raiders and play with Derek Carr, which I don't think will make him a top 5 wide receiver. I think he still lingers in the 6 to 10, but I don't know that I feel comfortable putting Adams anywhere near this top 4 or anywhere near the top 3. So for me, it gets crazy right here because you have a plethora of players that all can make arguments. You can make arguments for every single player from like 5 to 12 or 5 to 10. You know, you can't put AJ Brown here because he's been banged up. You can't trust him. You could consider Debo here for sure. You could consider CeeDee Lamb here for sure. You could definitely consider Jamar Chase. A lot of people won't because people are so mad at him right now and disappointed in him. You could consider Diggs here, even though he's kind of busted on the year. This is a tough spot to be in because, I mean, yeah, Deontay would be in here if A-Rod lands in Pittsburgh. He's more of a 7 to 10 guy, but he would definitely crack the top 5 if A-Rod, not in Denver, if A-Rod's in Pittsburgh. We are going to pay Adams the whole truck, says Rooks. He's picturing Adams in Jacksonville. That will be crazy. Did I say Big Ben? If A-Rod is in Pittsburgh, you will have Deontay Johnson in the top 5. Did I say that wrong? I'm sorry. JT Najee, Cup carried me, says Gallo. Jacksonville, but if Jacksonville, no offense, Rooks, but if Jacksonville lands Adams, I don't know that Adams will be top 5. I like Trevor Lawrence. I'm hoping he develops, but yeah. So what do you guys think at 4? Is it Debo? Is anybody still banking on Jamar Chase and willing to put their feelings aside, their disappointing feelings aside? Does anybody feel like CeeDee Lamb's going to blow up, and are they willing to put their disappointed feelings aside? Or is it Debo? Is it Diggs? Is it somebody else that we haven't named? Is it Deontay? Drop your vote. Drop your vote. Dawson says Debo's trash. How can you say that, though, Dawson? Like, if you don't like Debo in your top 4, like if you think he's going to get hurt or something, like that's one thing. But how on earth can you say Debo's trash? Like, what supporting evidence do you have there, Val? Ayuk. Matt says Ayuk. Lamb says Joe. Chris, Kelsey's not a wide receiver. Ty says Jamar. So hit me. Mike says Ridley. Debo, Chase, Lamb, CD. Yeah. You know what's crazy is people already judging Lamb. Like Lamb and Jamar. The other thing people got to remember is Jamar Chase was a rookie. He is still a rookie. He is still one of the fastest and best performing rookie wide receivers, the fastest climbing stat-wise. And people are ready to just jump off the ship. Like as if Jamar Chase didn't have 10 touchdowns quicker than almost any rookie wide receiver ever has in the history. Or how many rookie wide receivers have ever scored 10 touchdowns? It's like 2 or 3 probably. I'm going to say this. And people aren't going to like it. They're just going to think I'm doubling down. That's fine. I don't care what people think. This is how I feel. I crank out content the way I see it happening. And that's what's made the show successful. The approach I take successful is because I don't care. I don't care about ADP. I try and draft against it to use it to my advantage. Am I telling anybody to draft these guys in this exact order? No. If you can get away with Lamb in late round 2, of course I'm going to tell you to do that. This is my ranking. This is how I predict it to happen. This is how I predict it to unfold. Everybody's going to be different. And every year it's not going to match what any of us, you, me, or anybody says. It's going to be a little different. It's never going to be exactly what you think it's going to be or what anybody thinks it's going to be. Michael Thomas isn't even near this conversation. Adams is getting closer, but we don't know exactly where Adams is going to be. Debo should be talked about here. I think number 6. It's either going to be Adams or Debo. I think Adams here. Debo here. But I could go Debo or Diggs. And then, Deontay's in the conversation here. A lot depends on what happens with this quarterback situation. You've got A.J. Brown we're talking about, but hard to trust, and no way I'm putting him here, but I like his upside later. McLaurin needs consistent quarterback play. McLaurin would be a top 10 wide receiver if he got enough volume. Dawson says Diggs is getting disrespected. Bro, how can you say any of these guys aren't worthy? Diggs is worthy of being 4, Dawson. Diggs is worthy of being 8. Debo's worthy of being 4, Dawson. Debo's okay being ranked 6. Adams could be 4, Dawson. Or Adams could be 8. There's no disrespect when you're talking about a close group of wide receivers that easily could finish in a jostled order, and it wouldn't shock me at all, and it wouldn't shock you, nor do what you or I say actually going to unfold the way that you or I say they're going to unfold, Dawson. Nobody knows. The only ridiculous stance would be suggesting that anybody else's stance is ridiculous at this point, because so much is going to change and revolve and move. It's funny to me when people think that this is crazy. That's crazy. I can't believe you have Debo 7 and not 5. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Diggs 8 and not 5. Lamb 5. Smitty. Jamar Chase. Are we done with Jamar Chase? I get that comment a lot. Are we over Jamar Chase being a top 3 wide receiver? No, Bob, we're not. Jamar Chase is no longer a thing, right, Smitty? Because he struggled. He struggled, Smitty. He struggled. What's this? Is coming off. This is coming off. Hold on. Smitty, Jamar Chase has struggled. Aren't we done with this project? No, Jamar Chase isn't even through his rookie season. And some people out there are actually suggesting Jamar Chase is done. That experiment's over. Higgins is the big gun there, Smitty. Yeah, I heard the same thing about Cooper in week 1. Smitty, I told you Amari Cooper was better than CeeDee Lamb, Smitty. Amari Cooper's a top 5 wide receiver. We heard that week 1. We heard the overreactions in week 1. And now no one talks about Amari Cooper as even a flex option. So I don't want to hear that Jamar Chase is going to disappoint. He is a rookie that scored 10 touchdowns and hasn't even done anything lately, which you could rip on, or you could say he's a rookie. I'd be happy getting the bottom of this list. Top wide receivers consistently turnover. That is probably the smartest statement that I've read all night, because again, this is not going to be how it finishes. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee you that nothing any of us put down, paper to pen, marker to board, is going to be even 90% accurate. Is always going to be crazy. Okay. Gary, you remind me so much of Noah. Smitty, WTF, Smitty, respond to these comments. What does it look like I'm doing, Gary? God. I can only talk about one thing at a time, Gary. Gary literally wants me to be like talking about 8 different comments at once. Gary, I'm only one human being with one mouth. I can only speak to one person's comments at a time. Gary's upset because I'm not commenting to every comment that's come through. I'm trying, Gary. Gary, I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing the best I can, Gary. Fournette on IR. Fournette, man. Fournette is this whole week 15 is giving me a headache. I'm getting a big old headache from this week 14. But Smitty, I gotta read this. Anything in quotes, I'm reading with the mic, the megaphone. If you put it in quotes, I'm reading it with the megaphone. Just so you know, going forward. Not every time, but Leonard Fournette on injured reserve. Goodness gracious. The hits keep on coming. Here's another one. Here's another beauty. And when I say beauty, I mean disaster. Okay? Leonard Fournette on IR. Ronald Jones is the number 1 grab for week number 16 now. Now, I don't know how much I love it. Whoa. There we go. Jeez. Okay, what was I going to read? They're disrespecting the live. Who's disrespecting the live? I don't see it. I don't see it. Gary, I don't see it. But Smitty, Thielen, hold on. But Smitty, Thielen is a wide receiver 1 in Minnesota. St. Brown is the number 1 wide receiver next year, Smitty. Where are we going? It's Ronald -6. It's Ronald -6 points at a time, Jones, Smitty. By the way, I'm done with Yellowstone. I'm so sad. I only watched the 49ers game this weekend. Binge watched Yellowstone the rest of the day. Ready to start season 4, Smitty. I loved Yellowstone E111. I finished all 4 seasons. I'm caught up. I'm waiting for Sunday's episode. I cannot wait. I'm so sad. I've been binge watching Yellowstone every single night. It's been my favorite little ritual. It's nighttime. I get my content done. I'm done working. I shut down the studio. I go, Ziggy, studio off. I shut the studio down. I get out the phone. I put the ear pods in. I blast Yellowstone. And I just watch like 3 or 4 episodes in a row at night. I'm done. I don't know what to do. I'm probably going to watch Hawkeye next. Hawkeye's next on my queue. But I got to admit, I'm not excited. I'll probably watch 1883, which is a Yellowstone prequel, which has 2 episodes ready to watch. I'm going to watch that, Blackbeard. But man, I love Yellowstone. I'm so into it. So depressed. Ziggy, studio on. Take a lap. Smitty, McLaurin. Yeah, Gary. McLaurin does have top 10 wide receiver upside for 2022, but he needs a quarterback. All right, enough of 2022. You guys want to talk about this week. McLaurin on IR. Jeez. So Ronald Jones definitely, he's already ranked 1, but Ronald Jones needs to be probably the top waiver pickup until more news breaks. Le'Veon Bell signed to the Bucks. Whoa. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't know. I mean, he's washed, but is he? In this offense, Le'Veon Bell signed with Fournette out, not a game or 2. He's on IR now. The hamstring injury to Giovanni Bernard on injured reserve. The Tampa Bay Bucks are down to Keyshawn Vaughn and Ronald Jones. Bell, who averaged 2.7 yards per carry on 31 attempts, figures to slot in as a depth piece for Fournette on the mend. Jones should lead the backfield, but I don't know what it's going to say about it. I don't care. I look, he's probably not relevant, but it is interesting. Whenever a guy that had the talent that Lev Bell had, and he's still only, how old is Lev Bell? Still only 29. It's possible. In the right spot, he gets shoved in. If he gets shoved in. I don't think he will, but if he did get shoved in. Let's say Ronald Jones got banged up. Who knows? You know? Who knows? We don't have enough time for him to learn the offense, but, I mean, yeah. Imagine Lev Bell getting that Super Bowl ring. Here's a free Super Bowl ring. Here you go. Here's a free Super Bowl ring. There you go, Lev Bell. There you go, Lev Bell. By the way, I'm giving away one of these rings to one of you lucky individuals, and it starts this week. If you guys want one of these fantasy championship rings, these are not plastic. Your last name goes right there. Your record goes right here. Your year and your favorite number goes on the football. This thing is heavy duty. Look at this thing. I'm hitting the desk with it. This thing is jewelry. This is not a plastic ring. This thing is heavy. It's so heavy, you put it on your finger, it falls over. It's so top heavy. This thing is so top heavy. It feels like I think the way this company, and they're called Custom Fantasy Rings, and they're giving away, we're through a partnership with them. They're giving away a free ring to one of you guys. So who wants it? We're going to have a contest. It's going to be on my Instagram. It's going to be a follow them, follow me, comment. Look for that post this week. Probably later today or tomorrow. Doug says, take a lap. Smitty, Bell is running back 1. That's interesting. Who wants this? Who wants this Super Bowl, fantasy football Super Bowl ring? Look at this bad boy. Look at this gaudy ring. Imagine being in a restaurant. I'll wear this everywhere. I got one coming that's custom ordered for me, and I'm going to go to the restaurant with it. I'm going to go to my pizza shop, and I'm going to go, yeah, 1 slice of that pie right there, and we'll take 2 soda pop drinks, and give me some pepperoni, mushrooms, extra pep. Don't even cut the pie. I'll just eat the whole slice. 1 slice. I want it now. I'm gonna showcase this ring around. This is what Lev Bell wants to get from Tampa, this Tampa Bay signing, as Joe just said. It's a free ring. It's a free ring. Dawson, Smitty, for real, would you drop Stevenson for Bell with Harris coming back? No. I would rather have Stevenson, bro. Okay, Brady has more yards than Bell. Godwin is the key to the Super Bowl. The Bucs are not making it this year. Don't count out Tom Brady, who wears a bunch of these rings, bro. He can't even fit. He can't even fit them on one hand. Okay, I'm not quite Tom Brady, but I can start looking like him with these rings. As I start to put these rings on. These rings are fantastic. And I want you guys to look out for my Instagram post this week on how to get your hands on these rings from my boys, Custom Fantasy Rings. Promotion to come. Get ready. I'm going to announce the promotion on Thursday. So get ready for it. That way it'll come right in time for your championship, and you could send this bad boy to your league champion. Hopefully that's you. Smitty, who you trusting tonight out of Henderson and Michelle? Probably Hendy, man, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It could go either way, bro. It could go either way. It is not a good position to be in at all. Wait, you're supposed to eat more mayo, Smitty. Oh, don't worry, the mayo's coming. I gotta eat 2 two small squeeze bottles of mayo. It's coming, bro. Don't worry, Doug. I wouldn't back out on that. I've just been waiting for some off-season content, and that's going to be what I do. I didn't put a time frame on it. I just said I would do it, and I will definitely do it once the season's over and dedicate it to that guy. With pizza and wings, I don't think I could eat anything the rest of the day, bro. I'll be over my calorie count by a mile if I eat 2 plastic things of mayo. Well, I'm not eating it because it's good, Ronald. I'm eating it because it was a bet that a guy didn't pay up on Twitter, and I told him that I would pay the bet for him just because he never did it, and the fantasy world was upset. Rook says, I love this background music, bass line hitting. Some people love it, some people don't. But I don't care because I like it too. People forget to smash the like button. Hit the like button. Punch it. 105 of you in here. We're still rocking out even at the end of the year. Even when people are down and out, they're still coming back here to the show. Now let's get to the bold or the upside board. Let's get to the upside board. So here's the upside board. This is the upside board. What's the upside board, Smitty? The upside board is a board that tells you where the risk lies. And in 2022, a guy like JT is one of the very few players that is in the unicorn space. The unicorn green box. Okay? This guy's a unicorn. That means he's not real. He's essentially not real. He is so special that he's not real. And so when we slot players on the risk map, which is what this beauty is right here, it's an upside versus risk map. You've got your lack of risk down here. Simply put, if you're a 10 out of 10 on the lack of risk, that means you have no risk at all. You're scoring high on the lack of risk side of this map. If you score a 5, that's bad. That means you've got a whole bunch of risk. 0, we don't draft people that have a lack of risk score of 0 or 1 or 2. I mean, we might draft a 3 or a 4 occasionally, but they're not worth plotting on this map. So I've made it simple. I've made the map more simple. 5 to 10 is what we're going to focus on. You ask me for a player that's not on this map, I will tell you they're like down here or something. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. So JT, Jonathan Taylor, dude has lack of risk of probably 9 out of 10. Every running back's got some risk. So it's not like he's a 10 out of 10. He's got risk. He's a running back. He's getting fed a ton this year. But he's still as low risk as it gets for running backs. He's got low mileage, great offensive line, no real injury history. I'm going to put this man, JT, at 9 out of 10 on the lack of risk scale. Now, upside, we all know he's in this range. Is he 10? Is he 9.5? I'm going to say right now, let's call him 9.8. Let's call him 9.8 in upside and call him 9 in lack of risk. He is the highest scoring player in fantasy football 2021 on the risk map, and he happens to be the 1.1. The 1.1. It doesn't always, the guy going number 1.1 isn't always the highest scoring player on the risk map. So this tells you he's something special. He's set up for a bigger and more special year than the average player. This is our new LaDainian Tomlinson. This is our new Marshall Faulk. This is our new Priest Holmes. This is our new Christian McCaffrey. This is the 1.1 lock. We haven't had a player in a year or so, 2 years, really feel like this where they're by themselves. Like Najee Harris is high, Javante's high, but there's enough risk with them right now with their situations or whatever that they don't rank as high as JT. JT is now the Tomlinson. So JT on the risk map is the highest ranking player. Now, let me give you an example of somebody that's also a unicorn. Okay? This man is a unicorn. I know a lot of you see inconsistencies with him. And I get that he's had a disappointing year in some respects. He's come around. Last week he exploded. His ADP, where your risk, part of the risk score that you're getting, the lack of risk score, will be based on your ADP, based on the cost of entry, based on the risk at the position. This man right here has a risk score of probably a lack of risk of probably 9. You know, is there some injury risk? Maybe a little bit, but not really. Like, that was a freak knee injury. So Mahomes, while he's not the 1.1 or 1.2 or a first rounder or even a second rounder, he is still a unicorn in that he has a lack of risk of in the 9 range and upside in like the 9 range. This man is in the unicorn box, whether people want to admit it or not. Even though people want to hate Mahomes, he's still young, he's still getting better, and he can have bad years. People need to understand that. And Mahomes is going to rank there for me. That doesn't mean his ADP. People need to understand the difference between the risk map and ADP. They have no correlation in terms of getting into this high zone range. It just means that Mahomes is one of the safest players to draft in 2022 because he's going to fall into like the 3rd and 4th round. There will be so little risk drafting Mahomes in 2022. You're going to hear a lot of Mahomes talk for me in 2022. And if he finishes really strong, it's going to be unfortunate because then people are going to get a little bit back more on board and maybe he starts going in the late 3rd instead of the 4th. But if you could get Mahomes in the 4th round in 2022 because of the inconsistencies at the quarterback position this year, the way that's going to drive and dictate the narrative as to where you should draft a quarterback, it will be unreal. It will be unreal. The way people react to Mahomes going at 4.4, and they're like, you can't take a QB early. Didn't you learn from last year, Smitty? Didn't you learn that every year is the same? The exact same, Smitty. 2022 is going to be exactly like 2021. Don't you know? Mahomes is going to have everything baked in. Everything baked in. The risk will not be high. I'm not saying I won't like Josh Allen too. I'm just giving you an example of a unicorn. There are few unicorn players on the risk map, period. I don't know if there'll be 5 to 10 in the whole realm of fantasy football. I can't tell you exactly where and who exactly. We'll have to plot them. Like, give you another example of Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, lack of risk. This man's like in the 6 to 7 range for risk. He's got no lack of risk of 10 or 9 or 8. He can't be in the unicorn box because he's already starting off as a 6 or 7 in lack of risk. So here, you got to look at his upside. Is his upside 10? I would say not anymore. Not with the risk involved, even though the lack of risk should not affect the upside necessarily. They're two separate things for a reason. I just don't feel the upside's 9 or 10 anymore. I believe he probably has an 8. He probably escapes the no-go zone. He probably does escape the no-go zone, but he's on the borderline because of the risk. He's not a unicorn. He's not even close to being in the unicorn box. Ekeler, he's got upside of probably 9 or 8.8 or 9, but he doesn't have the lack of risk because he's an injury-prone player that's a running back that's had, good amount of mileage at this point. He's outside of the unicorn box. He's not inside. I don't even know off the top of my head how many players would be considered in my mind unicorns for 2022. I would say Jefferson is going to be a unicorn, and let's see how I feel about him. Jefferson, his risk lies probably in his quarterback situation, not in his talent. His risk lies in who's going to be throwing him the football next year. So I'm going to say while he's not below 8, he doesn't feel 9 or 10 and risk because maybe 9, maybe 8.8, something like that because of the quarterback situation, but his upside is a 10. Jefferson is in the unicorn box. He's held back a little bit by the potential quarterback situation, some of the things that are out of his control, but they are part of the package. Jefferson is in the unicorn box and a unicorn. Kelsey might not be in the unicorn box this year, Dan. He was last year because he dominates at his position, but he is a year older. We started to see a little bit of concern this year, but he bounced back heavily. I would say he's probably borderline for one more year. I don't know. I'll let you know later when I break down Kelsey whether he inches his way into the unicorn box. But I would say next year is the year we're starting to worry a little bit, bro, that this could be the decline year. You know, he's been doing it a while, and he is. I know everybody wants to say that never ends. I heard it with Henry over and over. Smitty, he's different. He's just built different. He's just built different. Yes. What do I look like? What do I look like, Lees? Lees wants to know if Cooper Kupp's a unicorn. What do I look like? Huh? Do I look like an a-hole that would leave Cooper Kupp out? Lees, we got it right here. Let's do it. Cooper Kupp, lack of risk. I don't know. Doesn't feel risky to me. Upside, Cooper Kupp, unicorn. Boom. Nailed it. Cooper Kupp, Jefferson, Mahomes, JT, unicorns, baby. 2022 unicorns. They're not going to be, I would imagine there will be less than 10. I imagine there will be less than 10. I look like Smitty. Thanks, pal. You look like Smitty. Well, I've got good news for you. Sir Law, you're watching the Fantasy Football Show, and I'm your boy Smitty. Chase a unicorn? We're going to leave that for the offseason, baby. We're going to leave that for the offseason. Get ready. Will no Kelsey hurt Mahomes? It's not that there's going to be no Kelsey. It's just, does Kelsey play 17 straight games at the level he's used to playing at? Will he miss time? Will he be dominant per start? I think, yeah, Kelsey will be dominant per start. So my assessment will be, will he stay healthy? Will he play a lot of games? That will be tough. Javonte will go over his unicorn status, whether he's a unicorn or not in the offseason. You can bet your bottom dollar. The risk map is making an aggressive entry into my content here in the next week. So get ready for it. Get ready for it. It's dropping like it's hot. 2022 is on the way. Here it comes. Chase killed you. He's a rookie, bro. He's a rookie. He's a rookie that you stole away on draft day or through a trade. If you overpaid to get him, I can't help you there. But Jamar Chase was stolen, and he's a rookie that has 10 touchdowns. I know he didn't deliver the consistency you wanted, but that's what you get for starting a rookie. You have to understand that going into any fantasy season with rookies. They can kill you. Hit the like. Thank you, Joel. So, Joel, I feel your pain, and I appreciate it, and I'm here for you, and we're going to tear up 2022. But I urge you, Joel, don't let the rookie inconsistencies of Najee and Jamar Chase in this crazy season, bro, affect your assessment of them in 2022. Don't let it affect that assessment. Najee is in line to be a unicorn, says Joel. Joel, you might be onto something on that, pal. There will be maybe there are more than 10 unicorns. I don't know for a fact. I haven't actually plotted everybody. But my guess is that we will run into a dry spot around 10. Around 10. What about a package deal? Madison and Cook, a unicorn? That's going to be discussed. We're going to go over the alternate unicorn potential variants, bro. Don't worry. Cook will be covered. Lamb killed Rock out. Yeah, Lamb. I mean, I understand. I understand everybody's frustration. We got Terry Roberts and Rock out with super chats here. Sorry, I'll address those right now. Thank you guys for the super chats. Rock out says, chat, level of trust with Josh Allen versus New England or Huntley. Man, who's Huntley playing next week? Schedule week 16. No, I haven't memorized the schedule for week 16 yet. I apologize. I've been busy dropping content and doing all kinds of things. Week 16, Baltimore is playing the Bengals at Cincy. Oh, man. Huntley looks so good. The Patriots are tough. And are we looking at a snow game, Rock out? Yeah, Joel. I'm sorry you hit the rookie wall with some of these guys. It sucks, man. You know, they balled out all year for you. Oh, man, are we looking at a snow game for that New England game, Rock out? I'd probably go Huntley. I hate saying that because you start your studs, but Huntley's in a very unique situation. If Huntley's starting this game, Rock out, we got to find that information out too. And you've got New England, the New England defense at home against the Buffalo Bills. If that's a snow game, then I don't know, man. That is a tough spot to be in because you're benching a top 3 quarterback. You know, Blackbeard says not a snow game. I don't know. We need to address that later because we don't know what Huntley's value feels like. Smitty was right. Lamb's attitude toward Dax affected his workload, a.k.a. him throwing his hands up on incompletes. Yeah, you can notice that CeeDee Lamb's frustrated with him. Blackbeard says clear weather, 22 degrees. It's still very cold. Ronald says he's not benching Allen for anyone. I don't blame you. I'm not ready to say. Give me more time, Rock out. Let's evaluate it all week. It's not crazy. Huntley looks really good. He looks really good, and he runs the ball, so he's a safe bet to score a lot of points. Thank you for the super chat. Terry Roberts, Smitty, got to go. Nurse is almost here. Help, hit the like button. Okay, Terry, appreciate you, buddy boy. And when you rewatch this, because I know you do, because you're a beast, we appreciate you, Terry. Thank you. Lamb to the Jags? I don't think so. Hendo or Penny? Give me Hendo, bro. Give me Hendo, broski. Blackbeard says 41 degrees. Now, Blackbeard, I'm starting to question whether there's going to be snow or not now, because it was a very cold game a minute ago. Now you're talking about late night Phoenix weather, where Smitty barely wears his hoodie. Yeah, right. I get kind of cold here in Arizona, but now I'm not so sure, Blackbeard. This is why Josh Allen can't be a number 1 QB. Buffalo has the worst weather. I mean, it's a good point to be worried a little bit more about Josh Allen having inconsistency. It's a good point, but I still think he's going to be an elite top 3 quarterback go forward, every year. Rojo or Montgomery in the playoffs. Montgomery was used a ton. As long as he's healthy, I'm playing Montgomery. They could use Van, what's his name? Keyshawn Vaughn. I want to say Van Jefferson. they could use Keyshawn Vaughn more than you expect. They actually liked him a lot in the offseason. A beat reporter told me that they liked him a lot more than people understood, even though he wasn't ever given a chance this year. So it wouldn't shock me if they're like, Keyshawn Vaughn, get out there. Hendo, Sony, or Van Jefferson. Give me Van Jefferson tonight, pal. Feels safer in PPR. Eddie says it'll be snowing in Foxborough this weekend. Blackbeard, can we get another confirmation on that weather, bro? Smitty had dropped Rojo on Saturday to handcuff Ekeler. Yeah, I mean, Rojo's tough. Like, it's hard to imagine people winning their championship with Rojo. He needs to be picked up. He's one of the top pickups of the week, clearly. But I don't know that I feel like ultra confident in Rojo. You know, like Rojo, he's number one here, but you can make arguments. I mean, like Duke Johnson could be better than him. We just don't really know. Duke Johnson, they're going to use a hot hand approach in Miami, so it's tough to know if Duke's going to be the guy, but Duke delivered. 107 yards, 22 totes, 2 TDs. Looked very good doing it. 1 reception. I don't know. I mean, I like Gaskin more, but Duke looked really good. He looked really quick and very, very aggressive running. Wouldn't shock me if Duke had a real. Wouldn't shock me if Duke proves to be the top pickup of the week. You know. Vaughn played terrible, says Andrew. He had 6 points. I mean, he only ran the ball 3. Define this, Andrew. I would like to know what you mean by this. I'm not trying to call you out or anything. I'm really trying to understand what you mean. Keyshawn Vaughn had 3 rushes for 19 yards at 6.3 yards per carry. So tell me what you mean by that. I'm not trying to call you out. I'm just trying to understand where this is coming from. Did I miss something so you can, let us know what you saw to alarm us to it? Because 3 carries for 19 yards, how did he play terrible? I'm just curious. I want to know. I'm honestly asking. Duke delivered on nobody's roster. Yeah. No one expected that. Beasley, yep, Beasley is on the dreaded list. I have Jonathan Taylor and Javonte, Kyler Murray, Jefferson, Lamb, and Chase and Hawkinson Superflex. Plus, I have Lance on the bench waiting. It's a fantastic squad, bro. Fantastic squad. I think there's a high likelihood that the Kansas City game gets moved to Tuesday, yes. Especially with, it's unfair. It's unfair, but big name players, Kelsey Hill on the dreaded reserve list. It's all about money. It's all about viewers. They're going to move that. They're going to move that game. Did Andrew respond? Gary says, this doesn't surprise me if it's true. I'm not saying it's, not true, but I can't validate it. Gary's saying it, but this week was the worst week for touchdowns scored in the NFL for 27 years. It would not surprise me. It was a disaster of a week. But also remember that 4 teams have yet to play. We normally am not sitting on 4 teams on a Tuesday night, so that also is something to think about. Bro, next week, would you go Ayuk or DJ Moore? I'd go DJ Moore, I suppose. Yeah, Cousins disappointed me badly. I needed Jefferson to ball out in a number of leagues. He failed me miserably. Smitty will be the number 1 pick in 2022 drafts. Thank you, Nick. Could Henderson score less than 7 PPR? He could, but I doubt it. I would take the over on that, but it certainly could. I mean, look at the Bucks, bro. Bucks 0 touchdowns. Who would have guessed that? For Terry Roberts, 100 watching, 80 likes. Please smash the like button, says E111. Did Andrew come back? I'm keeping his question on the screen because I'm expecting him to come back and explain, but he hasn't. He said Vaughn played terrible, and I was asking why, because he averaged 6.3 yards per carry. Just didn't get volume, but that's not playing terrible. Smitty was the worst week of all, no matter what tonight, right? I mean, yeah, in fantasy, it's the worst fantasy playoff week ever. Dak or Burrow? Probably Burrow. Let me look at the schedule. So Bengals at home versus the Ravens, and then you have Dak at home. Oh, maybe Dak at home versus Washington next week. And that's a Sunday night game, bro. Give me Dak over Burrow just this week. I mean, the Ravens are kind of tough. I mean, it's not a bad game. I don't know. Let me think on that because I really like Burrow. I really like Chase. I know Chase is going to frustrate people to blow up in the last couple weeks if people are already out, and they, part of the reason they lost is they got nothing from Najee, nothing from Chase in week 15. But I really like Burrow. I really like Jamar Chase for 2022. Smitty won't be running back 1. He will be at tight end, says Doug. It's a little strange, Doug. Brady has less than 1 point. Yeah, that was a crazy Brady performance, man. I mean, it's the reason he broke the iPad. Crazy week. Thank God for the bye. Appreciate the bye week for WRM and everybody out there, all of you that had the bye week. Praying for Swift and Waller to hopefully come back. I don't think you're getting both, and you'd be hard-pressed, I think, to get one. But Swift, maybe. Would you play AJB and Tannehill on Thursday? It depends on we can't answer any AJB questions yet, man. It's way too early to know what he's going to look like when he returns, or if he even for sure returns this coming week. We never talked about Antonio Brown on this list right here. With Godwin out, and what's Mike Evans' status? Is there an update on Mike Evans? Hamstring strain, consider week to week. Look, AB could be. I wouldn't be shocked if AB's the best ad. Him or Duke Johnson are the best ads this week. I'm not loving Ronald Jones. I think I might adjust this real quick. I know that it's late in the show and people that have already watched are going to be like, I already saw it. And no, you didn't, because I'm changing it. I'm going to go. I mean, you could keep Ronald Jones 1. You could keep Duke. You could put Duke as like 1B. And AB is 1C. I mean, honestly, I could rank them like that. We don't have a 5, but it actually would go like this. It'd be 3. This would be 4. If we're gonna get technical, 5, 6. So it'd be like that. 1A, Ronald Jones. 1B, Duke Johnson. 1C, Antonio Brown. Then St. Brown 4th. Gabe Davis 5th. Craig Reynolds 6th. And you could really move them around all over the place. AB's on waivers in a lot of leagues, Nick. A lot of leagues. People cut bait on him the moment there was talk about whether the Bucks were going to possibly release him. When he was cut in a ton of leagues. I would say AB. I mean, look. AB is available. And it may not be like, 50% of leagues or something, but it's still a crazy percentage. Antonio Brown. Available in 30% of leagues. That's how, Nick. How is AB on waivers? Like I mentioned, man, people cut him when they were without his services for the entire season. You know? Like, he's been out for a long time, bro. People cut bait on him in a ton of leagues that couldn't wait for him to come back. They weren't sure if he was coming back. The team was really on the fence until this injury. Yeah, so AB, I'd say, let's just highlight him. Could be the most impactful player to pick up here. This could be the most impactful ad of week 16. Yeah, but you and Joe, I commend you for it. But I mean, there's a chance he was not going to play again. You know, the injury helped him too, because they were on the fence about cutting him, bro. Moving on. AB after he faked his card, bro. It was like the Bucs were pretty much done with him. I don't know that he would have played again. So like, I mean, let's not pretend he was a lock to be in there to win your league. You know what I mean? Like, things have unraveled perfectly for him. And there's reasons to doubt him ever playing again multiple weeks ago. I traded Kelsey, AB, but congrats, Joe, on having him. Smart move. I traded Kelsey, AB, and Van Jefferson for Chase Higgins and Renfro. I regret it now. Kelsey, AB, and Van. Yeah, I would. Yeah. Oh, man. I would not have done that. I mean, I like Jefferson more than Chase, so that alone would have had me running for the hills. Mark Cleveland. Appreciate you, Mark. Van Jefferson or Devontae Smith. Can't believe this week is still going. Yeah, this is like a nightmare week. It's fitting that the week of dread and despair and craziness is literally a week that is 8 days long. Go Jefferson, bro. I go Jefferson, but you're not crazy to go Smith. Wouldn't shock me if Hurts and Smith connected on a touchdown in this game. I like Smith a lot. I hope Smith finishes really strong and people get excited about his 2022. Not too much, because I want him to be a steal, but I also want the players I believe in to do well and look good. I don't want everybody to be a sleeping giant. I want to feel really good and confident that Smith's going to get a good run. So I do hope he does well. I will be rooting for him, but I think I'd probably go Van. All right, guys. 5 minutes before kickoff, you know the drill. Top comments of the last couple minutes here get put on screen. I appreciate all you. Please subscribe if you're new. Please get on over to sleeperu.com, which you can get right here.
Want bold year-round rankings, trade calculators, and bold predictions? Get on over to sleeperu.com.
Anybody that buys a lifetime membership at sleeperu.com will get my text line, my text advice, free for the rest of the year, and also free for 2022. So if you want on my one-on-one text line, grab the lifetime membership at sleeperu.com and never pay for rankings or bold predictions again. And guess what I have? The new mock draft simulator, revamped, the one I invented in 2003. One of, if not the very first mock draft simulator in the fantasy football industry in 2003. I invented that bad boy, as well as the trade calculator. One of, if not the very first instant-based trade calculator in fantasy football in 2003. Your boy Smitty did that. And those are both found at sleeperu.com. Check it out. Learn about it. Get on over there. I appreciate every one of you. Enjoy your Tuesday football. This madness we're going through. Where's my music? There we go. Later.